Now let's go to our Q&A session, which has just started.
Fit in, you still fit in and can be who you are. So the brother can learn that lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you accomplished that quite well, quite clearly. To me, it's a small piece and it works really well. It's a small piece with a very big message. Yeah. Are you
Sorry,
saying
say that
something?
again. You cut out on me.
I said it's a short play, but it has a big message. And I think you're good that you kept it. You didn't try to make a full length with that message, because you accomplished the message right there with what you've done. And you also established a little world that was quite atmospheric, in the environment that they're in. And I thought it was really a powerful discrimination thing that he said he was given that shift from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m., which would be a deadly shift, because he himself was being discriminated against, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for picking up on that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the discriminated against opening up to other people instead of, it tends to be those who are discriminated look down on others to make themselves feel better. But he actually appreciates how he was treated there and made his living there and survived and raised his children, because everybody comes out of the bar hungry and wanting to eat. So it turned out to be a good place for him.
And you touched on something which I find very interesting that I've noticed over my growing years within the queer community. We have red tapes in our own little circles in many ways. And I always wonder, why the discriminated discriminate. And you just actually opened up to that understanding more for me. And so we're looking at the layers of discrimination deeper in the seed in a world of people who are already, discriminated. So, thank you.
I mean, it tends to be that the discriminated against also discriminate against others. It's a way of making yourself feel better by looking down on someone else. And he has done the opposite of that. He has accepted and been grateful for what he was given, which is really nice, I think. I don't know if that's coming from a religious basis for him or what, or just a practical basis.
I think that's, for Kareem, I think that's coming from a place where I'm the oldest of the three of us right here. I've seen it, I've done it. Taking religion out of it, I've just seen what it's like to be a good person to someone in life and to be a bad person in life. So I've been there, done that. I think that's more so where he's coming from.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, good. You were going to say something, Brian?
Yeah, I thought it started with some nice action with the whole blindfold thing. Something was happening in the middle of doing something. So that's always a nice way to start off a piece. And I really like the relationship between the two brothers. They seem like I could see them having little fights and so on when they were younger, but just being okay with it and all that. And I thought that was really nicely done. I had a question. When I don't remember the names, but when the younger brother said about the lesbians, and the other one seemed to correct him and said queer woman, but I'm not sure if that was a correction or was he?
He was trying to correct him. I was being a little fast forward with my time, but because we're in 2006, but he was trying to correct him. And so it also comes to this realm of, you know what, I'll meet you halfway. You won't understand queer women, you'll understand lesbians. So that's the best I can meet with you, brother. So yeah.
Okay, well, could you explain to me the correction? Because I'm not clear on it.
The correction is more so, hey, there's more to our world than just lesbians. Like women who are queer, they're not just called lesbians. So it's all trying to educate the younger brother a bit as well.
Oh, right.
In the midst of that, and he's like, you know what? We're just gonna get into the gay bar tonight. Tomorrow we'll focus on verbose and tense and the proper words in our community, whatever the proper words are.
Yeah, right. So for the younger brother, any woman in there is lesbian. That's all they are.
To him right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, it took me a second. Yeah. But I really like the relationship between the two. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so he wanted him to go to the bar just so that he could have a good time and realize that it was quite safe and quite normal, a normal world in there, right? Because the brother was sort of phobic about the whole thing. That's correct, right?
Yeah, essentially phobic about the whole thing. And it also speaks to, I wanted to touch to how media portrays queer communities as well, because that is an important thing to me about, you guys never get a good story. And I'm like, we get a fabulous story for that one weekend in June every year. And a fabulous story. But then even for myself as a queer man, before I came out and realized I can come out and be gay, I grew up in the suburbs, and my understanding of queer community was the bad news stories. So I think no matter what, it's just that understanding of, I want to show you that the news stories we both saw growing up aren't the only thing in this world of this community.
Right. And that's actually directly fighting against what's going on right now, actually, with the whole thing of making the children gay if they come in contact with a gay person, and all that nonsense. It's all that Republican cant that's going on again over and over and over. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much to add, actually. I think you set out to do something and did it. And it's summed up quite well, in the closing of the play. And so I think that's good. I think that happened and you did it really well. And the three characters all have their own world that they're in, and they all live in it, and they all manage to share and be part of this one unit, which really works, I think. And there's a sort of a love between them all that's very clearly there as well, which I liked. Yeah.
And I can't remember seeing the vendor really featured in any sort of storyline. Like, having a constructive dialogue with someone is usually just like, you buy this thing and you go. But we even got to look at what that person might be like.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to jump in here and invite our audience to come enter questions of their own. At the bottom of your Zoom window, there's about in the center at the bottom, there's a Q&A button. And if you press that, you can type questions into the Q&A and we'll all see them. Or if you prefer to talk verbally, just raise your hand and we'll allow you to talk freely.
And I'm assuming your actors are watching, perhaps, and wanted to just give them a round of applause, because we sort of didn't, and we do when they were live.
They did have to actually bump out, but they did see most of it, so thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, do share that with them, that we gave them a round of applause. Thank you.
it was also interesting on a very, very side note that you had the stage directions and all that written out. That's
that was
different.
very nice.
I hadn't seen that before. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Jeffrey, you had a question?
Well, I don't really have a question. I have a comment. You said that you only hear bad news stories. And that was Peter. I don't even know what to do here. Okay, anyway, in 1969 with the Stonewall riots, which some of us are old enough to remember and others aren't, I saw this little article in the New York Times about how some drag queens rioted in the Village. And the way it described it, I knew I was attracted to men. I was 21. I hadn't come out. I hadn't ever had sex, any kind of sex, except with myself. And I looked at that and I thought, I'm not one of them. You know, I'm not a drag queen. I don't want to be a woman. And that kept me in the closet long. Well, people the same. Anyway, I'm finished with my story.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. All righty. Do we have any other questions from the audience? I don't see any hands up. All righty.
I think I saw a comment somewhere or something.
Oh.
Yes, there is.
Oh.
I just saw it too, and then it disappeared.
Mr. Defour, your piece is compelling and timely. Do you see yourself expanding on this, making it into a full-length piece, or did this meet your intention?
I think that I think it met my intention in a real world, in a dreamsicle world. I would have 90 minutes where Blackness, queerness, and the Islam religion show what community and family is. That would be the dream, where the three of these three would go on some adventure and find out what homosexuals means to them. So that's the dream of where I would see it go. But in this pocket, I'm so happy that this pocket exists as it is as well. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Yeah, that's interesting because you did start it out like an adventure too. That's the definite feel. You're calling it an adventure, and it did start out as an adventure, which is very interesting and dramatically more exciting than just walking down the street, and just saying, let's go in here. So that was a much more exciting way of doing it. I think that worked dramatically for it too, really well.
Okay, we do have another 5 minutes or so left, and I'm just going to ramble for 2 minutes, I promise.
Louis, there's one question.
Okay.
Someone is Elek Ritzma is asking a question.
If I were a genie in a bottle, I'd grant your wish. It has me wanting to follow the breadcrumb trail. That's very nice.
Well,
But there's a question.
Oh, we do have another from Elek. Why did you want to capture the time period of 2006 with this piece?
For our main character, Taman, I wanted, for me personally, and I think for actually a lot of queer people, maybe not, and I think queer people of my generation, I'll say, that legalization of marriage did a lot for us. It literally just showed a lot of kids, So that just sort of flipped a switch for another generation, I think. And with our lead character, I wanted to give him, maybe he's had a year or a bit now diving into this world after he's lived in Toronto, this legalization. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to grab life by the horns and I'm going to bring my brother here. And I don't even actually know if my brother's homophobic or anything at all, but we just don't talk about this. So that time frame gave, I would say, a lot of weight for that older brother to experience himself and really start to see the world in a different view. Yeah. And I more so also wanted to capture that time frame because, in my political anarchist voice, I want to make sure the government knows not to take the clock back. Because I think
Could happen.
Beginning of a lot of danger. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
I think it's very good that you had Kareem there because it brought a whole new dimension and a whole new aspect to it, rather than just the one brother talking, the older brother talking to the younger brother, trying to say the same things. Kareem said it all in a completely different world, but quite essentially as much more effectively actually and Bull could buy that from Kareem much more easily than if his brother had tried to explain it, The acceptance of people. Does that you understand what I'm saying? You look confused by what I'm saying.
No, I'm noting a lot all you all are saying, but no, that makes perfect sense. I wanted to make sure that and maybe in a future draft, now that we're talking about it, a lot of this came from a professor of mine too at NYU. You helped me with the draft. I actually wanted to see if Kareem and Taman had a stronger relationship. Maybe this is where he comes and he sees Taman regularly, and they talk about so many things during his trial. And I wanted Kareem to be able to get to that brother the way the brother couldn't. So yeah, thank you for picking up on how they say it in their different tones, in a sense.
Yes, yeah. Which was good, very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we are just about out of time for this. And before leaving, I want to thank in absentia, your artists, Troy. They were all great. Very good people. And thank you for your wonderful play and for finding the Fresh Fruit Festival. I just have one quick question. How did you happen to find us?
Uh, I've been looking for queer festivals. So, you know, I
Okay.
love my buddies in Bad Times in Toronto and the National Queer Theater. And then I Fresh Fruit. So just researching online for the queer festivals.
Mhm.
And, yeah, that's all. Just looking for it.
Good. And you are now an official alumni of the festival, as are your cast and your director. So please join our alumni group. I'll send you a link to that on Facebook. It's a great place to self-promote. And we do have, check our website. We do have many programs in the course of the year. We run all year long. Our main stage, fully staged plays happens, now it happens in May. It used to happen in July, but we moved because of the COVID problems and the absence of theaters. So we were pushed into an earlier spot, which seems to work out. It puts us right at the end of our fiscal year instead of at the beginning. And that's a more comfortable place to be, I think, for us. And we do reach people a lot more easily that way. So I will say goodnight unless anyone else has something to add.
No, thank you very much. And I'll say good night also. Congratulations, Troy.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
all very much. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, and
Thank you.
I see our thank yous coming up. Okay, good night all, until next time.
Good night.